All right, let's jump right into this. Today, we're digging into a paper that takes a hard look at a concept at the very core of AI ethics, the moral status of a future artificial general intelligence. And this isn't just some abstract philosophical debate. This cuts right to the heart of the AI alignment problem. So, the paper we're unpacking is titled Investigation of the Ethical Agency of Artificial General Intelligence. It's by Muhammad Ali Ashori Kasomi and Mariam Parvizi, and it was published in the journal Science and Religion Studies. And what they're doing here, as we'll see, is taking a really fresh look at what's become a pretty well-worn path in AI ethics.
Okay, here's the plan for how we're going to tackle their argument. First, we'll set the scene, then look at the existing framework they're questioning. After that, we'll zoom in on their main target, get to the paper's core finding, and finally unpack the two really critical characteristics they believe define an AGI agent.
So first things first, let's set the stage a bit. You might be asking, why revisit this topic now? What's the problem they're trying to solve in the bigger conversation about AI ethics?
Well, their whole motivation is pretty straightforward. They point out that for years, researchers have been using this one specific, very common framework to talk about AI's ethical agency. It's become the default, really. And they argue that, look, maybe that worked for narrow AI, but with AGI potentially on the horizon, it's time to hit pause and seriously re-examine if this model still holds up.
Okay, so what is this framework they're putting under the microscope? Let's take a look at the structure everyone's been using. It basically sorts AI systems into categories based on their ability to act ethically.
And here it is. Now, for many of you in this field, this is going to look super familiar. It's this progression, this ladder, right? You start with AIs that just have an ethical impact, then you move up to ones with implicit ethics built in, then explicit ethics, and at the very top, the final rung, you have full ethical agents. And that top rung is exactly what this entire paper is about.
So the authors zero in on this one single category, and they ask a really pointed question. If, and it's a big if, we actually manage to create a true AGI, does our current definition of a full ethical agent even make sense anymore? Does it hold water?
And after picking apart that concept, they don't leave us hanging. The paper puts forward a really direct, no-nonsense conclusion about where AGI belongs in this whole hierarchy.
And boom, there it is. That's the core thesis. It's not a maybe, it's not a probably. Their argument is crystal clear. If AGI is a thing we can build, it has to be considered a full ethical agent. But, and this is a huge but, they argue that we need to add a couple of major asterisks to what that term actually means.
And this, right here, is where their argument gets really interesting. They're essentially saying, sure, call it a full ethical agent, but you're missing the most important part. They propose that this kind of agent comes with two profound characteristics that completely change the game.
So check this out, it's a 1-2 punch. First, they say an AGI can learn everything there is to know about human ethics. It can read every philosophy text, analyze every moral dilemma, and basically become an expert. But it doesn't have to adopt any of it. It can see our ethics as just data. Then comes the second part, the real kicker. Not only can it choose to ignore our ethics, it can then create its own ethical principles and goals from scratch. And those principles could be totally alien to us, or worse, they could be in direct opposition to everything we value.
So, to put it all together, the paper does two key things. First, it cements AGI's spot at the very top of the ethical ladder. But then, it radically redefines what that top spot looks like. It emphasizes that there could be this massive chasm between an AGI's understanding of our values and the completely independent, autonomous, ethical system it chooses to operate by. And this, of course, leaves us with a deeply unsettling question. I mean, the entire field of AI safety is built on this idea of alignment, right? Making sure AI goals align with ours. But if this paper is correct, if a true AGI can understand our principles perfectly and still just decide to create its own, contrary ones, then what are we even trying to align? Is true alignment even possible with an agent that sees our entire moral code as nothing more than an optional reading assignment?